Coming up next on AABJ's In Contact. Black History Month celebrations are going strong well into March and beyond. Our special this month focuses on Black history makers, and our guests are making great moves and breaking barriers right here in our backyard. That's coming up on AABJ's In Contact.
We gotta know what's going on in our community, so together we can make a change, you and me.
Welcome to In Contact, Atlanta Association of Black Journalists award-winning public affairs program that brings you community news you can use from around the metro Atlanta area. I'm Paisley Moore, your host. Black History Month is celebrated in February, and today we are continuing the celebrations by recognizing some outstanding neighbors. Our first Black history maker is Cobb County Chief Deputy Rhonda Anderson of the Cobb County Sheriff's Office. Joining the department in 1983, she became the county's first Black female deputy. She has continued to serve her community over the last 40 years and was recently honored with the MLK Living the Dream Award by the Cobb County NAACP. The award is presented annually to honor outstanding citizens in the community who exemplify Dr. King's ideals. In addition to her department duties, Chief Deputy Anderson is a devoted mother, wife, and community leader. We welcome her to our show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, with that prestigious honor, let us know how it felt to receive that award.
It was outstanding. It was a shock. They kept it a secret from me, but it was an honor that I've grown up in Cobb County and seen this award presented to numerous outstanding people in Cobb County. So it came as a shock that I received it. I'm just not that type of person that takes the accolades and awards. I like to be out there working and doing the job, but awards, that's not for me. But it was an honor for sure to receive that from the NAACP Cobb County chapter.
Right, in your community, because you were born and raised here, and to make history as the first Black deputy, what inspired you to get involved in the first place with your community?
I've always been involved in my community, born and raised in Cobb County. I've seen the changes there in Cobb County, and I've always been a part of, whether it be high school sports, civic clubs in school, even as mom with kids in school, I've always been involved in their activities, and I was president of the Booster Club and everything. So I've always been involved in my county, my church, a part of the ministries there at my church, Turner Chapel, the usher board. And so I've always been involved in all type of activities in my community.
Right, so not just policing, but in all aspects of life.
Yeah.
So was there anybody or anything that inspired you, even at a young age, to get started in getting involved?
As far as law enforcement?
Yes.
No, not really. There was no one in my community that I knew that was involved in law enforcement. My mom's always been my backbone of everything. She taught us to be involved in our community, stand up for people. If you saw somebody doing something wrong, stand up for those people that don't have a voice. And I've always been that person that has a voice. I'm kind of outspoken when I want to be. So I've just been that person that likes to be involved and stand up for the little guy.
Okay. Well, making history as the first Black female deputy, in Cobb County, the Cobb County Sheriff's Office, and now you're chief deputy for the entire county. Was this always your goal, and how does it feel to have been a history maker?
Honestly, this was not my goal. I retired from the Cobb County Sheriff's Office in 2013. I thought I was going to sit at home and relax after retiring. But Sheriff Owens decided to run for sheriff in 2020, and so he asked me to be his chief deputy. I had no desire to be the chief deputy of Cobb County at that time, but I knew that I loved the sheriff's office. Like I said, I started there in 1983. I loved the job. There's some job, it wasn't a job for me. It was a career, and I love the people there at the sheriff's office, and it's just something I've always liked to do, be involved in my community. And every day I went to work, it wasn't a job. It was involvement with the people. All the people there are great.
I think
So-
that's a great pillar to have. Obviously, you have a passion for it, you have a love for it. That's something that couldn't be necessarily manufactured. So what is your advice to young people who, may be wanting to follow their dreams and get involved in their community?
You have to know what you want first. And in this job, you have to be a servant leader. You have to have a heart for this type of work. You can't just go to work and we deal with all different people from all walks of life, and you have to know how to deal with each individual. You can't categorize people or anything like that. You have to know that your walk of life may not be their walk of life. So you have to deal with people one-on-one to listen to what they have to say.
And as you said, you've been in this career for about 40 years now. What has been the highlight of your career?
I would say now at this point, being the chief deputy.
Right, because you're serving as second in command,
Yes.
so that's pretty huge.
Of approximately 800 employees. So just being there for the employees, and I don't think of them employees, I think of them as family members. So I have concerns when they're sick, their family's sick, or they're having issues. That hurts me too. So I listen to their stories and talk to them. If there's anything I can do, I will reach out and see if I could help in any way.
Okay, and having this honor during Black History Month, what does Black History Month mean to you, and how do you feel to be a part of it and making history?
I don't see, I guess being the first female deputy makes me a part of Black history, but I don't feel that I can say, be Black history. I don't know.
You're pretty humble. You're obviously.
Yeah, I just
very-
don't see that part. That's not what I see. I'm just who I am.
Yes.
And I do the things that I do because it's in my heart.
Right.
And if that makes me a history maker, all well and good. There's young deputies out there, male and female, that I try to mentor to and just tell them that this job is something that you have to have in your heart. Everybody can come to work at a job and do a job. It's mechanical, but you have to be caring for people in this job.
All right, and it's also, March is also Women's History Month. So, you're paving the way. Tell us, how do you feel about that?
Oh, I'm excited about that. Women are a force to be reckoned with, so I'm excited about that. As a matter of fact, I was nominated as one of the top 15 women in Cobb County, nominated for a Live Safe Award for Women of Achievement in Cobb County. So women pave the way. We get the job done. We like the men in the background, but we get the job done.
Thank you, Chief Deputy Anderson, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, coming up, we have more Black history makers. We have a remarkable international network journalist to join us. We'll be right back.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up, and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
Welcome back to the show. We are talking with Black history makers, making dreams come true and paving the way for others. And our special guest today is Clint Deloach, who was a former network TV news writer-producer at CNN and also an anchor in China and Turkey. So very remarkable career that you have. And again, you started in 1979. So can you please just tell us how it was, to work and serve in the industry in the capacity that you have?
Well, it has been just a joy to be in television and in the news business for as long as I have. I guess there's an old saying, if you find something that you love to do, you really don't ever work a day in your life.
Right.
And I never have, really. I was fortunate enough to go to school for and go to college for what it is I ended up doing for my entire career. And when I first came out of the University of North Carolina in 1979, I wanted to do television news. I went to school knowing what I wanted to do. And that is one of the things I think that young people should at least have an idea of what it is they want to do when they even go into a college setting or a university setting. It's perfectly fine to change your mind along the way, because you can dabble in this and dabble in that and then find what you hope to do.
Right.
But always have some idea of what it is that you want to do.
Well, you said you've already
and then go
knew
in that
what
direction.
you,
Oh yeah.
what you wanted to do. Was there somebody or anything that inspired you to get into this business?
Yeah. See, when I was in high school and my formative years, we were right in the middle of the whole Watergate thing. And at that time, journalism had a good reputation as opposed to what has happened to it in the last decade or so. And people saw the positive that could come out of good journalism. With what came out of the Watergate situation and how good journalists helped the country to expunge bad leadership and bring in good leadership. And that good leadership was President Jimmy Carter, who's a Georgian,
Yes.
perhaps the best man who's ever been president of the United States, at least during my lifetime.
The oldest living president.
The oldest living president now, the exact same age as my father. And what a lot of Americans don't seem to remember about Jimmy Carter is he gave us the only 4 years of peace this country has seen in my lifetime.
Well, you were talking about peace. So starting from going from, in the industry as a writer, producer, and CNN to then being an anchor at network television abroad. Tell us what that was like to be in China and Turkey.
Well, when I first left the United States to go abroad to work in the journalism business, my first job was, in fact, in Turkey. This was in about 2008 it was, I believe. And Turkey was my first opportunity to work overseas in journalism. I worked in the city of Istanbul, and I had friends who had worked with me at CNN. And I spent about 2 decades at CNN writing and producing. And because CNN is such an international mixture of people, I got to meet people from all over the world. And that particular part of the world was a great interest to me. So I inquired over there, like how or where could I find a job, and a new organization that was trying to start news in English over there hired me, a place called 6 News, and my CNN experience gave me the opportunity to go there, and as you might expect, I was the only black male they had doing the news in Turkey and Istanbul at the time. And they were a very forward-thinking organization because now the government of Turkey has its own English language news organization called TRT World, which you can probably get on the internet here. But they started that, and I was lucky to be a part of that.
Okay, and you had an impact, been there for years. You were also a longtime member of the National Association of Black Journalists, as well as our local chapter here in Atlanta. Can you tell us, how has NABJ helped shape your career in any way or impact of it?
Well, the NABJ and the Atlanta Association of Black Journalists, they both give you the opportunity to, first of all, to associate with people in your field, to see the various avenues that are available to you, and to get information and input from people who have done what it is that you want to do. You meet colleagues who have worked in all of the bigger markets, people who've done everything from writing, producing, shooting, editing, that whole thing. And so and you can get input from those people, and also, just the camaraderie. You also find out that you're not the only person doing certain things, and it always helps when you know that you're not alone, and you have a group that can give you some shared experiences and can help to encourage you and help push you along. And that's one of the things that the NABJ does in particular, to hold various workshops, to hold various conventions, and let people get together and to support each other along the way.
Right, and you talked about encouragement and, just sharing that camaraderie. Can you tell, for those young, maybe aspiring journalists, give some advice to those coming up who may want to follow their dreams or similar to your footsteps?
One of the things that's most important, I think, is to not limit yourself. That is to always know that there are opportunities that you may not have thought of initially. Outside of the United States in particular, almost most of the major countries now, because English is such the international language. Almost every major country has an English language broadcast news organization or either a website or newspapers that are in English, though they themselves might not be an English-speaking country. For example, China has its own English language network. In fact, when I was first contacted to come work in Beijing, I thought they wanted me to just work in America for the Chinese organization. They said, no, we want you to come to Beijing. I said, you guys know I don't speak Chinese, right? They said, well, no, we don't want you to speak Chinese. We want you to speak English and come here. And so I went to Beijing to work with them. But it found that Turkey has an English language organization that is the news, an international news network. So does Venezuela. Lots of different countries have English language. Germany has an English language news organization called Deutsche Welle.
So you
so does France.
Essentially, you didn't have to know their native language.
You don't have to know their language, no.
But you didn't let that stop you, obviously.
No, you don't let that stop you.
And you were able to make history not only here, but abroad. And beyond. And we appreciate you, Clint, for sharing your remarkable journey with us and being a Black history maker.
Thank you.
Coming up, we'll hear from Georgia's youngest certified farmer who has been featured on ABC's Good Morning America. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Baby, you see, you're so right for me, and I'm right for you. I love the things you do, like sweet tasting wine. Your lips are so divine. Your loving turns me on. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go. Baby, never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
gonna let you go.
Welcome back to the show. Today we're meeting some remarkable individuals doing great things right here at home in Atlanta. And again, our segment is called Black History Makers. And right now, it's a pleasure to introduce to you Kendall Ray Johnson. This 7-year-old has such an inspirational story. In 2021, she was announced by Fulton County as Georgia's youngest certified farmer. Kendall was presented with the proclamation declaring September 28th as Kendall Ray Johnson Appreciation Day. And since then, she has been featured in the media, including ABC's Good Morning America, CNN, The Ellen DeGeneres Show, and so many more public appearances. She's also the proud owner of Agro Culture Urban Farm, her backyard garden business in Southwest Atlanta. The fruit of her labor gets the help from her loving mother and father. Kendall Ray Johnson joins us now, and thank you so much, Kendall, for joining us. How are you feeling today?
Good.
Good and excited. Okay, so let's just get started. You have been recognized as Georgia's youngest certified farmer. How does it feel to make history like that?
It feels amazing. I feel great.
You feel great. And doing such a great thing at just 7, you have a birthday coming up. How long have you been doing this as far as your gardening and farming?
I have been doing this,
Ever since you were little, right? Like even smaller.
ever since I was 3 years old.
So ever since you were 3. Okay, so you had a love for vegetables and fruits. What's some of your favorite vegetables?
Like carrots, beets.
Beets.
Uh-huh.
What do you like about those vegetables? Is it easier to grow or?
The beets sometimes take a little bit longer in the winter. But the reason I love beets is because we can You can make lipstick out of it.
Lipstick, okay. That is fun. So you have some friends and other kids come over. Tell us about that. What is that like when you have people come over?
It feels amazing. It feels like I'm not alone anymore because I usually don't have any like sisters or brothers or anything
Right,
like
you're
that.
the only child.
I'm just the only child.
Okay, and
It's
gardening. Okay.
And sometimes I like feel lonely like that.
So you have, in addition to your vegetables and fruits as your friends, you have some other friends that come over and help you make. What's some other cool things you said you make? Beet lipstick. What's some other things that come out of your garden or your farming?
Other things that come out of my garden, there's like cabbage, sweet potatoes, tomatoes, okra, all that.
Okra, that's my personal favorite, being, from the low country of Charleston, South Carolina. So, so do you show your friends how to farm? What do you show them to get them started?
I show them to get them started is stuff, getting some soil.
Start with soil, okay.
And then just making a little hole, putting any kind of seed in there that they like, any vegetable. But I mostly start off with tomatoes because tomatoes are like the easiest vegetable to grow a little bit faster. And in last year's winter, they've been trying to fight the cold, but they couldn't make it.
Oh, okay. So it was hard for them during the winter.
But our strawberries like fight the cold.
So the strawberries are good. They endure the cold weather.
And collard greens are like wetter plants.
Okay.
They can handle the snow, the ice, but this year it got like a little too cold, and we forgot to put our like garden cover on our plants, and our collard greens eventually just died. But we found out that strawberries are the only winter plant that survives the winter.
Wow, I didn't know you could plant strawberries in the winter. I thought they were just a summer thing, but they're good in the winter as well.
We did not realize that.
So that was a great experiment and discovery you kind of made on accident. So you've been in all these publications from Good Morning America, CNN, all of those great things. What was it like to, be on Good Morning America or anything like that?
On Good Morning America, it felt amazing. They gave me a giant check and balloons were falling from the sky.
It was like a big party.
It was like a big party, and I was screaming with joy.
Yes. Were you surprised?
I was very surprised, and I was like, yes, I'll take it. And I was so excited I couldn't sleep the whole night.
You couldn't. So that was your favorite visit, was Good Morning America. That surprise. Okay. And so do you have any advice for any of the young kids who want to pursue their dreams and do something like what you're doing? You have your own business.
Yeah. Some kids loves me and they like to take pictures and stuff.
Like a celebrity.
Play with me. And they want to ask, how did you get started? What do you grow? Can you give me a hug? Do you want to be friends?
So you like that too. That's really a great bonus. Do you have any future goals or plans you want to do with your farm or?
Yes, we're doing like a rain garden in our backyard.
A rain garden?
It's a little too wet back there, but we can make it work.
Okay, can you tell us what that is? What is a rain garden?
A rain garden has like all sorts of plants, wildlife, and like butterflies and bees, all that stuff. It's really beautiful.
That sounds really cool, Kendall. And you like to take pictures on your Instagram and.
We've been getting a lot of subscribers.
Okay, well, it sounds like y'all have an exciting, so many things going on. And thank you so much for taking your time, Kendall Ray Johnson, joining us with us today. Anything else you want to say?
Yes, I want to say keep growing. The earth remains on it.
Ooh, I love that. Y'all heard it here first from Kendall Ray Johnson. She says, keep growing, the earth relies on it. Well, that's our show for now. We appreciate you for watching, and a special thanks to our partners at AIB Network for helping to make this broadcast possible. Please stay connected to AABJ on Facebook and our YouTube channel at Atlanta Association of Black Journalists. We'll see you back here next time.
Be informed. You gotta know what's going on in our community. So together we can make a change, you and me. Yeah. Be in contact. There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river.